Quest complete. A new murder mystery, clubbing, and zombies. Hello, crawlers, and welcome to episode 6 of a Dungeon Crawler Carl podcast. We are on book 2, chapters 11 through 18. And last week, we released a deluxe episode. I don't know did you bother wading back through the episode, Mark?
No, it was so long.
You didn't, but I know Rubio did.
Yes.
Because one note up top, I left a little spoiler in. I did go through this. I made a lot of edits, but I was also doing it late at night, and I missed one. And Rubio was like, you gotta get rid of it. You already released the episode. You gotta get rid of it.
You thought it wasn't a big deal. I said the whole conceit of the entire show is it's a read-along with no spoilers.
Oh.
And there's like a big, fat, important spoiler in the middle of the thing. He's like,
It's a moderate spoiler that we're actually discussing in the very next episode. I feel like it's not that big.
No, it's a big deal.
It was such a big deal that you said, and I quote, this will likely lose us some audience.
Oh.
I know it would make me drop it.
It would.
Which I thought was pretty extreme. You're not going to listen to our episode.
It totally would. It would make me drop it.
You've been working with this guy for a while now, right?
This is very, very much in line with Rubio.
Yeah.
And me missing that and then shrugging, very much in line with
No. None of this discussion shocks me.
No, I just want to say to the audience, you're welcome.
We caught it. We cleaned it up. We'll address what that spoiler is here in probably the next 10 minutes.
When did I become we? I caught it. Okay, you
I
cleaned it.
up.
You cleaned it.
This is a team effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
We caught it. We cleaned it up.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
One other particular note is that I am wearing a shirt that I realize up top says billionaires, and I would like to specify, because you can't read it under my tummy gut, are not your friends. It's not like I'm just advertising billionaires with no context, because someone might go, what's up with that shirt? Just billionaires are not your friends. It's from the people over at Some More News. You guys should check them out.
Well,
it's a fun podcast.
It's cool you threw them a plug and all.
Yeah.
But just that image with billionaires on it is funny enough and ironic enough in itself that you don't really need that last tagline.
You know why I love it so much? It's got that Ralph Bakshi art style that reminds me of like Flight of the Dragons and The Hobbit and stuff.
Oh, I suppose so.
I think a little bit.
It reminds me of those sitcoms like Different Strokes.
Oh yeah, with the hand on the shoulder.
Yeah.
All in the Family.
Yeah. No, well, no, more Different Strokes and Facts of Life. Like at that point when they started writing sitcoms where they're like, we don't really need to be funny.
Yeah. We could just crank these out.
Yeah.
You know, like a podcast that doesn't have spoilers with a spoiler in it.
Oh, no.
I'm glad you moved on from that and you're not holding on to it.
Should I walk out and let you guys get this settled and then come back?
We gotta squash some beef apparently.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of beef to squash.
And we know that when you come back, we're going to be kissing.
So please stay.
just stay.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our previously on
Dungeon Crawler Carl. Carl makes an exclusivity deal with the production company Vengeance of the Daughter and defeats Grimaldi as city boss. Mongo heroically defends Donut from a janitor mob attack and grows in size. They take on a quest to investigate dead prostitutes in the town. They check out the Desperado Club and avoid an assassination plot by redneck militia elves and zombies.
All right, we're back.
Yeah.
And we like to start this off with Martin. What do you think of this section of the book?
So we have genuine peril, I think, for our main characters. We see that Carl is smart enough to circumvent the rules, or at least figure a way that nobody else has and get away with it. We get a clue that Donut is a lot smarter than she pretends to be. And we go from one extreme to another. I was discussing this with John, how it felt like there were two different ideas that just kind of got put together.
Ooh, how do you mean? Which ones?
From the circus to the bird people.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this book has two very different quests in it.
Yes.
And it feels like two stories stuck together. And as we were mentioning, when these stories first came out, they came out episodically on Royal Road. That's how they weren't released as books immediately at first. So they were just kind of like these stream of consciousness kind of storytelling. And this book really feels like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I guess, disjointed in that way, and maybe episodic, like Mystery of the Week with these quests.
Yeah.
And you could totally see this structure being a means for, if there's a TV adaptation, you could run a couple episodes where there's just them completing quest after quest, and those are kind of encapsulated like single episode kind of narratives. It's interesting the quest structure within here, and how, yeah, like you're saying, disparate. One's this circus horror, and then this another one's like kind of this seedy noir mystery thriller.
Yeah. I guess, as I listen to it, I'm trying to like give it like context. And I was like, is this more of an RPG? Is it more of a video game? And I always think video game because it's visual and I can really see that. But I can't think of a game that has where I go from one thing, this theme to this completely separate theme. So it's a little hard in my brain putting it all together. I'm going with it and I'm having fun, but it's hard seeing it all as one thing.
Yeah, wait till we get to the next book.
Well, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying with this one, because it's almost like, because they're genre jumping like this in a way, the emotional attachment to the stakes, it feels a little bit discombobulating, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because you're like, okay, I was feeling, you kind of built me into this emotional zone with this horror and this melancholy lost love kind of thing. And now we're like, okay, now there's dead prostitutes, and there's these this mysterious cabal of redneck elves and skyfowl, and what am I latching on to? How do I transition from that? And I know the tether is supposed to be Carl and Donut,
Sure,
and we're just invested in them as they go from adventure to adventure. But I also I felt this a little bit in this one too. The switch from one story to the other leaves you kind of needing to catch up, I guess.
Yes.
Or it left me that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I was just along for the ride, really. I mean, it didn't bother me that there were two quests. I just thought it was a little weird that there isn't a lot of crossover between the two.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, like everything you guys are saying, I'm kind of going through all of that. Yeah. Weird that there's not more crossover. You feel like with one genre there would be more of a transition, and it's more like
or an overarching theme.
But it's like, okay, we stop to rest, and now we're in a whole completely different a different game.
And I know that I'm only talking to the other old heads out there, but it felt like 2 episodes of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Where you have 2 very, very different storylines that are obviously with the same characters in a similar world, but they're very different.
Yeah, we had this in the first book as well, with the floor 1 and floor 2 kind of make these different acts that there is a little bit of carry through, but it is kind of 2 separate stories in a way.
And with different floors, I get it. Yeah,
but within the same floor, you're kind of looking for that, and maybe we get it in the last batch of the chapters, or maybe not. But we are checking in here where it does feel like we're in the transition between Act 1 and Act 2, and this is kind of where I'm like, oh, we should have actually ended our first episode with chapter like 12 or something. But oh well, we're going through it here, and let's actually go through it then.
Sure.
Yeah, where we left off was Carl had just poisoned Grimaldi.
Right.
And starting in this new book, he chats up Zev and says, "Hey, Zev, the plans have changed. We need to figure out, like, I need to talk to the producers of Vengeance of the Daughter." And she's like, "Oh my God, this is great with both of these dramas playing out at the same time. You're getting a huge spike in readership." And he just kind of glosses over that and says, "Just give them this message. I just poisoned Grimaldi. Because this is Signet's story, I'm going to suspect that you're going to let him die. And if you want these ratings to continue, because the ratings are going crazy with Carl doing what he did, you should let me survive this to the 6th floor, and I'll continue going on and doing." He gets that exclusivity deal, right? Continuing to do Vengeance of the Daughter centric quests.
Yeah, I think it's important that we notice that Carl recognizes that this construct is more than just a survival mechanic, but it's also there's underlying business.
Yeah.
That he can exploit to his advantage to some degree. He can negotiate and say, "Hey, look, I know that your bottom line is profit, and if we're talking about that, I can be highly profitable to you."
Yeah.
Right.
If you align with me.
I could kill Grimaldi and go with the storyline you got planned, but what if I save him?
Right. If you don't respond to me in 30 seconds, I'm going to cure him. And everything's going to be shit. Like, all of your plans are going out the window.
But work with me.
Yeah.
And we could turn this into something where you win and I win and everybody wins.
I love that he realizes that he has that power, right? Like, he takes back as much power where he can, and here it's a lot.
Yeah. It makes me also wonder about Zev a little bit here in this exchange, because she's like, "This is great. The numbers are doing great." And I know that us, the reader, are supposed to like Zev because Donut likes Zev, and she's a victim of circumstances too. But in the what's that comedian's name? Bill. The old cigarette smoking comedian.
Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks. In the Bill Hicks sense, is she evil because she's just a marketing person who's caring about what gets the biggest buzz? And like, she doesn't see like the risk to their lives so much as, "This is great. We're getting good numbers." She's done this a number of times, which makes me like go, you also are kind of disconnected from the humanity of this stuff.
Well, yeah, because she, like everybody else in the system, has been in it for so long. They have a different perspective. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could focus on saving you, but there's been 1,000 of you who come and go, and at some point, you're like, I'm not going to try to save all. The only person who's thinking like, I can save as many people as I can is Carl.
Right.
Everybody else is like, either I'm just trying to survive, or they're like, this is just how it is, man.
Yeah. And we're going to touch on this in a minute, but Carl does have that hero complex.
To the point of being predictable, where everybody knows him, and they're like, I know exactly what you're going to do.
Yeah, even the people in the story are like, "Fuck, dude."
You need to tone it down a little.
So after Carl tells Zev what he's about to do, and says, "Hey, I can cure him and everything's fucked, but we really should have a deal here where I'm like exclusive to them." Zev's like, "This isn't what we discussed," but the producers were listening to that whole conversation and immediately approved it.
It worked out.
Yeah,
he made the gambit, and it worked out. It'd be funny if it didn't work out. We're like, then he died. Well, that's the end of the series.
But then Carl heals Grimaldi.
Yeah.
He just goes ahead and heals him anyway.
Which, I don't know. That's like an interesting area to think about, where he was making a prediction that if he allowed him to die, it would ultimately mean Carl would die too, because he'd like collapse under the tent or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. He worked to Donut's point later is like, but you could have killed the city boss. You don't know.
Yeah, he worked it out and realized, like if
there's a death trap.
Yeah, it's a death trap for anybody who's in here. So I'm gonna die too if I go ahead and just do this anyway. So he heals him, and he activates his Wisp Armor spell, which is a very, very smart move. And then he eats that ice cream cone that he saw earlier that was infected by worms.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea is, yeah, that was gross.
Yeah. The way he's just constantly throwing up worms and they're working their way into his throat to make him talk.
Yeah, they're like puppeteering him from the inside.
Yeah. He's like, oh, stop doing that, please.
There's some of these descriptions in this book that are so visceral that you can like feel them. Like when he talks about puking them up and it feels like he's like, there's cutting razor blades all up and down his throat and you can feel the blood draining. That's pretty good descriptive.
It is.
And it's gross. And I wonder how that will look in film. It's just gnarly. Yeah.
But it was a smart move for him because he remembered how, or like he figured out that that's how Heather the bear was being controlled. And anytime those worms from her paws hit him, he heard all of those voices in his head. So he became like, he went over and he got infected by these parasites in order to have a direct line to Grimaldi.
But the wisp armor was it constantly trying to heal him from that, or was it just allowing him to have like a duality of possession and consciousness?
I think it was helping him not get completely taken control of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it prevented him, being taken control of, but he still had to take the healing potion in order to like expunge it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was a cool sequence and a way for him to be like, look, I'm actually going to give validation to you writers and your plot, so that the work that you did can have this little bit more of like a tidy bow and like have the viewers invested in the continuing saga of Signet.
Yeah, because he knows that Signet and Grimaldi both love each other, but the way the whole thing is set up, she's banished. She can't go inside to talk to him. He's a fucking rooted vine. He can't go outside and talk to her. So he takes it upon himself to be the conduit, the telephone.
Sure. The peacemaker. I forgot what the
peace
term
broker.
Is. Yeah, peace broker. He's there to work that out, which I was like, good for him. Because in my experience, whenever I've tried to broker peace between two people, it almost never works out.
Yeah, and of course, when he comes out and he goes to talk to Signet, she's like, oh, he's under Grimaldi's control, but he's like, no, I'm not. I really you guys need to talk.
I'm just puking worms, babe.
Yeah, I'm still in here. Let's figure things out.
I thought an interesting point that gets brought up a little bit later is when they're watching the recap, you don't see the scenes of this playing out because it's owned by the TV production Vengeance of the Daughter, which is just another means of them being like, oh, you want more of that story? You gotta pay $5.99 per month, and you can get the subscription pack.
Yeah, get on our Patreon.
Hey, patreon.com/HelloCrawlers. No shit.
But yeah, it works. It ends up working. He brokers a peace between them. He reminds them, hey, you guys are both family. You love each other. Let's figure this out. And Grimaldi removes the banishment from Signet. And then she could actually like join him inside the tent. And that happens, and Carl heals himself and gets all the worms out of him. And it's a happy day.
Happy day.
Until...
He's like, hey, the promise you made about Donut. Oh, yeah. She's fine. She's over there.
So he gets a quest completed notification. And everything is fine. And then he kind of remembers what Zev had said. And he's like, oh, what do you mean both of these dramas playing out? Mordecai comes on the comm and says, hey, Carl, Donut's health dropped below 20%. You got to go now.
And at this point, I would just like to point out, I spoiled a note here where I said in last week's episode that her cockroach ability had fired away right away after her getting that skill. That was a spoiler.
How dare you?
It's a bad spoiler.
Are you guys both not going to listen to the show anymore? Deal breaker. I'm so sorry.
Wait, that was the spoiler?
That was it.
Yeah. It's a big spoiler for the
really
next
mad.
section.
He's really mad.
Oh.
I was mad for the viewer.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, we used to do a podcast where we would talk about a lot of pop culture stuff. And you remind me of some of the audience we would have who would get upset about things.
I'm literally just thinking about that audience. I want
You
them.
are that audience.
No, I want them to be happy.
Anyway,
Fuck you and fuck you. You're welcome.
Carl has realized that he made a construct of trash around Donut to protect her, and that actually was the whole impetus for these robots, these little Roomba things, essentially attacking Mongo to try and like clean up the trash. They weren't necessarily trying to kill Donut; they're just trying to clean up the other trash around her.
They were the janitor mobs
Yeah,
that are on
the
every
street
level.
urchins.
Yeah, street urchins. On the last one, they were like brindle grubs. There's just these creatures that go over and eat all the dead bodies, so that it's generally kind of clean.
It was a cool moment for Mongo to be like the hero protecting his mama cat.
Yeah, dude. When Carl gets there, like before he gets there, he gets that other notification as he's running that, oh, like her cockroach skill just, activated. Get there like fucking now. And
remind the people what the cockroach skill is.
It is a thing that saves her life when her health gets down below like 1% or something.
Yeah.
So if she's gonna die, it brings her back up to 5%, and that's it. Like it just stops her from dying.
It's like a second chance spell.
Exactly.
Which, that activating, and then Mongo beefing up because he's
killed so many of them.
Killed so many.
But he's also looking like a porcupine because he's been stabbed by all these spines that come from these things.
They both look like pin cushions.
Yeah. I like that Carl quickly recognizes what the problem was. He starts feeding the robots and like clearing up the space. The recognition, like, I think that there's this part of Carl in this narrative, in a lot of storytelling, you'll see the hero who can kind of do no wrong. We see Carl mess up a lot, actually. At the tail end of this book, or this section that we're discussing, this isn't a spoiler. It's within the context of this.
Okay.
He throws that dynamite that explodes and fucks him up too.
Yeah.
Like there's that, and then the putting the trash around Donut. When I was saying, "Hey, trust Signet," she said Donut's gonna be safe, and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna listen to you, Grant."
Trust Signet?
Who would trust Signet?
Should have trust Signet. Instead, he put the trash around there and endangered her life. It's just that he makes mistakes.
He's got that billionaire shirt on.
I love it. Look at these geniuses. These guys are better than the rest of us. They're geniuses.
I trust Jeff Bezos.
He's got enough of my money.
Yeah, we can't all be like your heroes over here. I mean, putting the trash. How come Signet didn't say like, "Hey, don't do that with the trash"?
Because she's an asshole.
Exactly.
That's why, you fucking moron.
Okay, fine. I'm not saying she's a hero.
But yeah, so Carl gets there. He ends up doing the thing that you said. He heals. He has to learn how to do a heal pet spell with Mongo because like a regular health potion doesn't work on him.
Put like a Twizzler and cinnamon stick in some
potion. Yeah, he's got to just dump a bunch of crap into an actual heal potion.
Who's going to just naturally figure that
right?
out? Yeah. You have to have a Mordecai. That's not fair.
You need a Mordecai.
Are there like basic spell books? I guess there probably are basic spell books you'd come across.
Yeah, he learns recipes.
Well, I mean,
who's got time to read?
Exactly.
We have to. We
you got two people dying here. I'm supposed to read through this book and figure out. Right. Come on.
This is literally a book reading podcast.
It's an audiobook listening podcast while I'm driving places.
Fair.
I'm dual tasking.
So he heals them. All the quills come out, and he sits there and waits for sunrise. And while he's doing that, he's kind of reflecting on how everybody else that he's ever known has died because of this whole situation.
Sure.
And he's like, this is everything that matters to me here. This is my family, which is a nice little button to put on a narrative button to put on this entire quest section that was all about family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Mm-hmm. And Donna wakes up at dawn. Like the sun comes up and she's like, nothing ever happened.
Yeah, what happened?
And she's like, what did you do to Mongo? Like, why is Mongo so big? What happened? What? She's like freaking out a little bit.
And why do you have so many points all of a sudden?
Yeah.
You cheat? What the fuck?
Yeah, she even went up a couple of levels because she was, partied with them and they were getting experience in the same area.
I think that There's a moment where Carl's relaying what happened, and she's kind of quiet and a little bit introspective. I was wondering what you guys make from that. Like, why do you think she's being quiet and like instead of her normal self, really talkative about it?
Well, that he was able to have this whole adventure without her. That's part of it.
Left out.
Yeah, left out. Not the center of attention so much. And maybe it harkens back to times when he thought, I could do this without you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they all have those moments.
Yeah, that's interesting because I read it the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't thought about like the fact that she felt, oh, you didn't need me and you still could survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was thinking that maybe she was reflecting on the fact that he did come back and he did save her, and all his talk about we don't risk our lives for our pets, he did.
You know, that whole thing, we don't risk our lives for our pets. Not only did he instantly regret it, but I don't know, that didn't linger as much as I thought it would. And maybe it comes back later, but just at the time, they both seem to realize like, that wasn't the right thing to say.
Yeah, but I thought the
move past
juxtaposition
it.
of that to this scene was where I was thinking maybe that's why she was quiet for that beat.
Mm.
But I hadn't thought about like, oh, maybe he doesn't need me.
I like that it can be read both ways.
Right.
That's really cool.
Well, there's also, you'd get introspective if somebody woke you up and they told you like you were this close to dying.
Yeah.
And you had no clue about
You
it.
almost died. And I wasn't here. I couldn't be here to save you.
Yeah.
But this big old chicken dinosaur did.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Clutch. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's now the size of a mastiff.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, oh, I don't need you, Carl, anymore. I got this big old dinosaur now.
So he fills her in on all the stuff, and then they end up heading toward that Skyfall settlement, which was the thing they were supposed to do in the beginning. Mordecai had been like, hey, ignore Quest, just go over there. And as they pass where the circus was, it's all gone. Like everything's gone. The circus is gone. Freaking the vine is gone. And where the vine was, where Grimaldi was, there's a staircase to the 4th floor.
Oh, I must miss that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mordecai explains to them, like, oh, sometimes when you complete a quest, a staircase will appear in that general area that you couldn't see before.
Mm.
I mean, that kind of tracks with the last floor where they had to beat that boss, and then there was a staircase right at the end of the swine ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that one was visible, though. Like, they could see that it was there, where this one was
Agatha knew.
Yeah, where this one was just not there at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that would lead you to think that in subsequent floors, you got to maybe just like kill a boss to find a staircase.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
Except for like
Maybe.
in this case.
But they didn't kill the boss.
Yeah, they didn't kill this boss, but Carl correctly surmised that it was a death sentence for him if he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was part of the whole storyline that he wouldn't have control over, and it would have killed him. But instead, he kind of worked it so that there are now producers looking after him as an asset. Yeah. You know, there's more people now on the side of Carl surviving. And he explains this to Donut. He's like, this can only be good for us.
This is similar to the strategy in the Hunger Games, where it was, listen, everybody here is a tribute and they're all out there. But if we have this we're lovers storyline that gets people interested, then they'll attract, patrons and people who want to see us succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's a way to work the ratings.
In the first draft, Matt had Carl and Donut as lovers, and then it was like, it's a little bit too on the nose. Cut that. We'll get rid of that joke too.
I really wish you would cut things that you said you were going to cut.
I'm going to put up a poll, guys. You have to answer this poll. Like, are you done listening because of that spoiler that got lifted in or not? Let us know.
So, after this conversation about like vengeance of the daughter, the producers, like we're worth more to them now. Donut is like, that's not our story though. That's like Signet's and Grimaldi's story. We're guest stars. And what happens to guest stars when they become more interesting than the main stars on dramatic television. And he's like, they get killed off. Like, they get killed off. That's why they killed Barb on Stranger Things. She says.
Yeah, her logic, Barb on Stranger Things, are like, Barb is the most interesting character on Stranger Things. And Carl's like, yeah, you got a good point, except for that Barb thing.
I agree with you. The internet, however, is a weird and wonderful place.
Well,
Barb is kind of cool.
But honestly, her saying like, well, when guest stars become more popular, they get killed off. I'm like, no, they get spinoffs.
Yeah, what about Benjamin Linus? What about Saul Goodman? Saul Goodman got his own show.
Wait,
right?
Benjamin Linus?
Benjamin Linus in Lost?
God.
The greatest show I've ever...
No, I know who he is, and I know what show he's from, but where'd he get a spinoff?
He didn't get a spinoff. But he got he was supposed to die in the first 3 episodes. And then he was so good, he just made it all the way to them.
Sure.
It was a fan
Spoiler.
fiction. He fucking wrote fan fiction. I go to his room after he's gone to bed.
Yeah.
It's just like him and Benjamin Linus kissing.
Yeah.
It's called Grand
No,
Linus.
he was so good, they kept him around, and then they went, we actually don't know what to do with this character.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Let's make him increasingly annoying. Like, oh, here goes that guy again.
Yeah.
Talking.
Like, what's he up to? Huh?
So we have a little break from the big action sequences. We go back to opening up some loot boxes. We have a little shopping spree. I want to talk about the loot boxes in particular for a moment because there's a lucky bastard box that Carl gets, but Donut doesn't get. They both get this like Lazarus award for like avoiding death or something like that. But Carl gets a lucky bastard box, and like he and Donut are kind of noticing she doesn't get one. And this is, I think, because when they both were attacked by Signet, I think that Carl actually died and was saved by the AI. This is my tinfoil hat theory here.
Okay.
It seems to me that the AI straight up saved him, and that's why he gets this special box. Because there's a point in like the description of this. Is it this box, or maybe when they got the Lazarus thing that says like either you're an extremely lucky bastard or you're sleeping with the producer. And I think the sleeping with the producer line is kind of tethered to this idea that like he is the favorite pet of the AI.
Yes.
Which makes me think he was saved by it. And that's why he gets this award.
And he's obviously not lucky.
Well, I don't know about luck factoring in when you also have the engineer of the entire system invested in you.
No, I'm saying like he's not lucky. Like he's in a fucking death dungeon.
Yeah.
This is not a lucky person.
No. So I
wasn't being sarcastic.
No, I agree with you.
I know everything I say sounds sarcastic.
It's your cadence, your tone.
Well, it's like somebody gets cancer, but then the cancer goes into remission, and they go like, "Well, God was looking out for me." And you're like, yeah, but how'd you get the cancer in the first place?
Yeah,
God was mad at me for a little bit.
It's a whole fireball or custard.
Fireball or custard.
Yeah, everything is fireball or custard.
Well, to further extrapolate on this, the lucky bastard box, what he gets is it's like a coupon or something that upgrades one of his items.
Oh yeah,
which is interesting because he gets the box. And then later he says, man, I really got to get myself some pants.
And the moment he says it, I'm like, what are you doing?
Why are you saying that?
You've been told not to say stuff like that.
Over and over
and over again.
But after he does that, the random upgrade, and I put heavy quotey fingers on that, is that his boxer shorts get upgraded to the point where he can't, they're so upgraded he can't wear pants, which makes me further tinfoil hat say, the AI specifically chose the award the reward that he would get in the box after the fact, like changed whatever's in it, and then forced it to be an upgrade to that so that he can't wear pants.
And I will say that of all the mobs and the bosses and creatures they fight, and even Frank and Maggie, I don't have negative feelings toward them nearly as much as I do toward the AI.
Yeah.
I just hate that AI. Like every time it comes in, I'm just like, man, fuck you.
It's a snarky little 13-year-old.
Yeah.
It would love Dungeon Mayhem, Extreme Dungeon Mayhem, whatever that show's
Oh,
called.
glurp, glurp.
I mean, that is the AI show, isn't it?
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like that he's now trapped wearing this ridiculous outfit. Later he gets the Chistera. It's just the whole look of him is getting more absurd, and yet us as the reader just can't go along with like that is his iconic look.
I think very few people picture what he looks like in their heads. Like I started drawing him on like fan art, and I had to like look it up and be like, okay, well, what exactly is he wearing? Because I know a few things, but by this point, he has a cloak and a leather jacket and an enchanted T-shirt, and he's got a freaking glove
A gauntlet.
Yeah, a spike gauntlet, and he's got knee pads and
Spike knee pad.
heart-shaped, like heart box. Like, what are you doing?
Look at those calf muscles too.
I tell you what though, John, I am thankful you made that drawing because as I read or listen, I picture it all the time to give me context.
Yeah.
It is useful. There's like a lot of the fan art that people are putting out online. Like I go and look at those and go, oh, okay, that's what that's supposed to look
Yeah,
like.
there's a lot of really good fan art. On
Yeah.
the subreddit specifically, there's a lot of great artists up there.
I don't know if you guys saw. I guess you did. You didn't see the last episode where we did the race and class selection, but I tried to put up images for each one. And some of those I was like, oh, that's what that's supposed to be. Like after what's a gleaner? A gleaner is essentially a coatine that's like a large human-sized fish.
Right. And the one that you were the hoobly doobly.
It's just another name for a hobbit.
Yeah.
So what do you know? I picked a hobbit for myself.
Yeah, go figure.
How appropriate.
It says it on his birth certificate.
That was a mistake. My parents.
Yeah, under raises his hoobly doobly or whatever.
Or whatever, actually.
I think we skipped over a part where I think Carl was remembering a conversation between Beatrice and her mom.
Oh yeah.
Where like her mom is like, oh, Carl's a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
And B is like, yeah, but I love him. And it was weird because it felt like it humanized Beatrice a little bit to me.
Mhm.
Like she felt more like a real person than the caricature that Carl.
Kind of the villain in that we're presented as like just this cheating girlfriend that broke his heart.
And she is still that, but it gave her some humanity that she was missing as this fucking mustache twirling villain.
Yeah, she's complicated. She can love him and hurt him at the same time.
Yeah, it was just a cool little scene that I just wanted to touch on just because it does a lot for that character, like how much dimension a character can have to just have a really, really quick, simple scene with like a handful of lines.
Yeah, but it's also a thing where you're like, okay, Carl was privy to this conversation.
Yeah.
And has known this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And to know Beatrice felt that way about him, it's like she does love me, but she doesn't think much of me, but that's part of why she loves me, I guess.
Yeah. I guess he is a dumbass.
Well, he talks about being like she characterizes him as being simple. He
Simple.
doesn't- Yeah,
She didn't really call him stupid, just saying he's uncomplicated.
Uncomplicated.
yeah, he doesn't need much to make him happy, and
he says what he
agrees
thinks.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like at the beginning of the book for book one, it was like, I don't like drama. I'm just gonna leave that situation. I don't need the complication of it.
Yeah.
And he just wants things simple and straightforward and easy. And
Like most men.
yeah, but he's definitely not in a easy, simple situation.
True.
Yeah. So he's gonna have to adapt or simplify things.
Yeah, I really just need a 40-ounce ice cold water container and some beer, and every day at about 4:30 I get up and I do the Ed Lover dance. If you remember the Yo MTV raps from the 90s.
Ed Lever?
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
Is that Martin Short? Like with the weird
That's
hair
Ed
thing?
Grimley.
Okay.
That's a different. Wow, we have different cultures.
I also didn't know that one really.
Are you guys that different in age?
I'm 49.
Oh, then yes, you are.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
I'm 22. This is what a 22-year-old looks like.
You and I are as different in age as he and I are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm 42. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. There we go.
Okay.
I'll be 50 in August.
Okay.
You act like a 50-year-old.
Fuck you.
Typical 50-year-old.
Get off my goddamn lawn.
Very Gen X. All right, let's
One other thing
Okay.
is Zev mentions that she has another show for them to go on pretty soon. It's going to be in the next few like days or something, but
we do not get to that at the end of this section.
No.
That's the start of the next next episode.
right. But she does say, "Hey, you're going to be on the show Danger Zone with Ripper Wonton," which when I read that name, I was like, "Yes,
Danger Zone." It feels like Archer. Danger Zone.
I want to know what Danger Zone, and I want to know who Ripper Wonton is."
Yeah, I don't even remember this. Actually, I was going back and going like, what was this show? I think he goes on it. I have no recollection of what happens on this one.
And I haven't read that part yet.
No, like everything that happens from the start of the show on to the end of the book is my favorite part of the book.
Hold up, you actually stopped where you're supposed to stop?
I did.
Whoa!
I did. It's been a struggle.
This is the first episode, I think, where you haven't read a little bit beyond.
Yeah, and because when I read beyond, then I can't remember the other part that we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
But it's tough because my car and between my phone and my car, it's set up to when I turn it on, it immediately fires up Dungeon Crawler Crawl.
It goes, "Hey, Martin, I know what you need, baby."
Yeah, it'll just launch into it. And I have to like get the phone and go like, no, go back to an audiobook. I was a different thing I was listening to.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear what it's going to be like for you driving home from here, listening to this whole next chapter of the book.
Yeah.
That's going to be so cool.
I
Yeah.
totally don't remember what it is.
Okay.
So it'll be exciting.
Yeah,
We can both
it
go,
keeps going into this part, and I have to like, no, rewind, change.
So he gets the box, right? He gets the that upgrade to his underpants.
boxers, yeah.
He also gets 100,000 gold casino chip for a roulette table at the Desperado Club.
Oh yeah, wait, he doesn't use that this time.
He doesn't use that
Yeah.
at this point, but he gets this 100,000, like this coin.
Right. That Mordecai immediately snatches up and goes like, "Oh man, you're rich."
Yeah, I've never
Maybe.
seen this before. Yeah. He can't trade it in for gold, but he has to use it at like the roulette table
Mhm.
or something.
Which is bad because he's got a gambling addiction. He shouldn't even be in there.
Yeah, he shouldn't be let in.
No. But when you're a desperado. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. That's all I had for that section.
Okay, so then there's a sequence that's like a shopping sequence, which I feel like that's just a little bit more like mechanics. I don't know if there's anything like of note in there, but there is a recurring background character, Gum Gum.
Yeah.
Gum Gum the orc who starts popping up. Gum Gum is trying to rope them into a quest. She's very sad because prostitutes around the town keep dying, and she's trying to get someone to help figure out this mystery of why they're dying.
They meet her at this pub, this one-eyed narwhal
Yeah.
safe room pub
Yeah.
where they get a couple of rooms to stay. Like that's going to be their home base.
Yeah.
And she's at the bar. Like they bump into her at the bar.
And yeah, she excuse me, and she tells her sob story, and Mordecai's quick to go like, "Nope, fuck right off, bye bye."
He literally goes, "Get the fuck away."
Fuck off. I love it so much.
She's like, "Okay, you have to be a dick about it."
Because she's really feeling it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, "Oh, there are dead things everywhere, like dead women," and like Mordecai's like, "Fuck off."
Yeah, tell your story walking. And of course, Carl, who wants to save everyone, is like, "Well, what about this?" And she's like, "Nope."
Like the greatest show of all time. He's a regular Jack Shepherd in a way, right?
Oh.
Got the hero complex.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
I guess we have to allow some of these. Some.
All? You don't know how much restraint I show.
I feel like you've used up your allotment for this particular episode.
Fair enough. I got no more. Like the smoke monster, I'll just disappear.
Why did you say it like that?
That better get cut.
Why did you say it like disappear? No, I
It
think
won't get cut. I'm not doing any editing this episode. I already did all of it last episode.
so yeah, they're in this new safe room area, and they dismiss Gum Gum. They're like, "Fuck you, Gum Gum." The recap show comes on, and there's 643,000 crawlers left.
Too many.
Yeah, still too many. And they see a recap there's a guy with an alligator head and a Mossberg shotgun. There's that goat lady that we'd met before on another recap show, who is now a mage, and 5 of her 15 goats are still with her. 3 of the goats are unchanged. 1 is armored, walking upright, wielding a battle axe, and occasionally screams for no reason.
Right, as goats will do.
Goats do that. There's
The other one's a big hell beast.
The other ghost is this giant freaking dark satanic fucking goat.
Baphomet from all the Tenacious D albums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that character shows the 2 other paths that the Pet Biscuit could have brought Donut. Donut had it, and she remains a cat who's walking on all fours. Cat looks like a cat, but just can talk. There's a goat that all of a sudden becomes a little bit more humanoid goat.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking on 2
hind legs, yeah.
And then one that's just a massive freak beast pet.
And Mordecai's like, that one's eventually going to grow wings and turn into like a dragon-sized familiar thing. And Carl's like, do you have another Pet Biscuit we can get Donut?
Yeah, because he says to Carl, it would have been a big help to you if Donut had turned into one of those things.
Can we just try again? Because I just got an asshole who talks shit.
She could have been a Thundercat, but oh well.
What do you bring to the table, Donut? Look at these other 2.
But so Carl, they end up going to bed after all of this, and as they're going to bed, Carl notices Gum Gum still sitting in the corner of the bar, and she's fucking crying.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to bed, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot something. I got to the bathroom." And he goes over, and he's like he starts walking out, and Mordecai is like, Gum Gum left, dude. Like, he's at the bar, sees Carl walk out. He's like, dude, she's gone. Look, I know that you came to see her. You can't save them all.
Yeah.
Like, you really can't.
Stop it.
Yeah. And it's like, at this point, the AI knows what your proclivity is.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep baiting you the whole time. So stop falling for it.
And Mordecai really smartly says, if you want to save people, if you want to help others, your best bet is to get as strong and as deep in the crawl as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl recognizes this, accepts it, and we never see Gum Gum again.
I love that even when he goes back to the room and Donut's like, so was she still down there?
Yeah, did you get the quest?
Everyone read it. It's like, dude, fucking stop. This is as bad as your gambling addiction.
He reacts like, fuck, like what the how? Yes, you're that transparent, dude.
Yeah. I kind of was like, yeah, they're right, man. Like, you don't need that. You can grind away and get points and not be like roped into something that the other one was like a dangerous, deadly trap with an elite. Mm-hmm. How do you not learn your lesson from that and go, I'm not fucking with that anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I know a big thing with Carl is hey, you're not going to break me. I'm going to keep my humanity. I'm still going to save people and do what I think is right and stay myself, which is admirable.
Yeah.
But there is dude, but you got to kind of get with the program some. You're not thinking smart about these things.
I guess the other thing that's kind of curious about it is that he's been presented with the fact that like the NPCs, while real living creatures, I guess, to some extent, are programmed with false memories to kind of act out a scene. They operate independently, but when they die, they're brought back. So there is a little bit less preciousness to their lives than the actual other human crawlers that are going around. And yet there's something about him that's shy about encountering the other humans still on this level.
Yeah, it's true.
Like whatever happened with Frank and Maggie, like I guess made him so wary that he's constantly looking for player killer skulls.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a hero complex, maybe channel it to the other humans that you keep looking at the number of them dropping versus these NPCs and their little quests.
I love how Frank and Maggie had such a big impact on the first book and our experience with the story that we haven't seen them at all or heard from them at all in the second book, and we're still talking about them.
They, as far as a first encounter with other humans in the level, it's very important and sets a precedent for how he goes into everything distrusting.
Yeah, it leaves a big mark.
Yeah. Where, I mean, his second interaction was with all the Metal Arc people.
Right. Well, and then also we know they're still lurking out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, when are they going to show up and how much worse are they going to be when they do?
Yeah.
So
I wonder.
After this whole thing, like they wake up in the morning and then go shopping. And I think Mordecai says, like, today is going to be a great day. It'll be the very first day that you guys fucking do exactly what I tell you to do. Because so far, they've just not listened to him.
No, that was in the last one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, no, that was right before they got conked out by Signet.
Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. They failed there.
Yeah.
But here now, I don't think he's going to try and like say that because they're just disappoint him either way.
Anyway, so yeah, they go on the shopping trip. They're gonna go to the Desperado Club, but they need to do something with Mongo, so they buy a little pet carrier, because they can't just put them in their inventory because they'll die. So they get like essentially like a Pokeball. To put them in.
Yeah, which I'm surprised he didn't use that in the description.
Yeah.
Because the way he described the pet carrier, I was like, oh, it's a Pokeball.
Yeah,
And
there are some things that he can pop culture reference. Maybe like, they're like, don't touch Pokeball.
Right.
Why am I
And as they're doing all of this, Mordecai reiterates to them, hey, no quests, no elites, go and like kill a neighborhood boss or something, grind your skills up, keep in touch and get back before dark because it gets really scary outside after dark.
And he emphasizes a neighborhood boss, not a city boss.
Yeah.
And then they run into Gum Gum and go, no, we'll take on that quest because she's dead. Right? They find her dead.
Well, no, not yet. Gum Gum, they see Gum Gum and she's piling dead prostitutes in the street.
Oh.
And she's like, these are the women that I found today. Like every day. Yeah.
Directly to Carl. Are you going to allow this, Carl?
Every day I find like a bunch of dead prostitutes.
And they're all twisted.
They're twisted up and some of them have like their blood is drained.
And they're beheaded, some of them.
I mean, the dead prostitute trope we've seen in so many stories.
So many.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big thing in like what's that Western show on HBO?
Deadwood
has that plot. I think it happens a bit in Dexter.
Well, it's always a thing when there's a serial killer on the loose.
I think it's like hard
always
to
killing
Jack
the
Ripper,
prostitutes.
Right?
And
Yeah.
like, oh, they don't have any family and nobody knows them. And
who's going to step up?
Yeah,
like,
Jack the Ripper.
Every season of CSI. it's always present there. And it's one of those things that feels a little bit like Matt Dinniman's just playing on us, the audience, because it's like, you're gonna fall for this too. It's a common trope, but it's funny that it's Carl that's gullible enough for something that I'm sure Donut's like, come on, dude.
yeah. Everybody else would be like, this trope again. We can walk past this one. Not Carl. Plus, it was like, well, she asked us for our help way back, and I didn't react fast enough, and now I'm getting a second chance.
And this time, like she's like, he sees her doing all this stuff, and she's like explaining to him, like, I find these every day. Will you help me? And then he gets a new quest notification immediately, and it is right after Mordecai's like, no fucking quests. Like, what are you doing?
Is there like an accept button though, or is it just like that can linger in there? And because I think Mordecai says you don't have to do it.
Yeah, you could just
go
like,
down to the next floor.
You could just like forget about the quest and it'll go away.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, like playing The Witcher 3, there's times I'd get on a quest and I go like, oh, this quest too, fuck this. And I'll just leave. And it's like, I just bail on it and go to something else.
Yeah, and Carl even tells Donnie, he's like, I don't intend on this derailing us. This is gonna, and she's like, you said that last time.
Yeah. Carl is one of those video game players where he is a completionist. He has to do all of the little side quests. He's got to collect all of the coins and get all the little rubies. So it's just going to grate on him if he doesn't take care of this one.
So they go to the Desperado Club after this, and there's this big 6-story New York, like old school New York City style building. It looks like what you'd see in a noir film, you know.
It's part like techno electronic Blade Runner club. It's part casino and strip club. And like visualizing whatever this looks like, it seems like such a weird amalgam of all these things. And I keep thinking of the dumbest scene in Return of the Jet. No, what was the 7th, 8th movie of Star Wars? Whatever, Canto Blight, that planet that's the casino
one with
planet.
the horse races.
Yeah. The scene I hate so much in that movie. I actually like that movie.
Yeah,
overall.
except for that scene. Yeah,
everything that happens there is so dumb and unnecessary that I'm like, man, I just don't like that part. But it reminds me of like Canto Blight a little bit.
I just thought about I think they describe it in the book as Blade Runner. And it feels more like Blade Runner to me.
Okay, we're throwing things out. It reminded me of Percy Jackson.
Oh,
the point where they get to Las Vegas and they're in that casino where nobody leaves. Which is like, it's like a casino where there's no clocks and there's just lights and sounds going on all the time.
Yeah, I grew up right next to Mexico.
It's a Hotel California for you.
Right.
There you go.
Mordecai explains that there are 2 clubs in the Overcity, 2 different distinct like members clubs. Desperado Club, which is where we're at, and there's also Club Vanquisher. And if you're a member of one, you can't be a member of the other.
It's like light side Jedis and dark side Jedis. And they're dark side Jedis because they committed a goblin infanticide in the first book.
Yeah, this is more like a Vegas situation, and that Club Vanquisher is more like a
country club.
Country club where people will sit around smoking cigars and telling racist stories. And he's like, I think I'd like this one better. This one feels.
You guys are missing out. The country club one, it's great.
And Mordecai's with them at this point, right? So like he's walking through, and the bouncer, he knows the bouncer, Clarabelle, and she's a crocodilian. She's got that crocodile head.
She's got a cow name though.
She's got the Clarabelle the cow.
By the way, Jeff Hayes does some really great voice work.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Like that's one of those things I think about, like how he has this like library of different voices he must just what did I do with that voice? And you gotta go back and listen to it and okay, get in that mode. All right, I can do this voice again.
Well, like I said, the new Mordecai and Carl a little bit too similar, the same with Signet and Donut. But when we get to these voices, they are all very distinct from each other. And I was like, I just had to like pause and go like, wow, I'm being reminded of how amazing he is at this.
It's one of those curious things where in later books, there are people that come in and do guest voices. And that's just like, hey, if you want to come in and do a voice, that's cool. But Jeff Hayes could handle it. He's got such a range.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
But I'm sure he's happy to go like, okay, that's one less I got to think about.
Yeah, I guess you handle that. That's yours.
So there's a little bit of lore in this club, right? People, like, it's really packed, and Mordecai explains that most of these folks in these areas aren't real people. A lot of them are just NPCs, and when a real crawler walks in, then one NPC will disappear from the club. Another thing is that it operates on a different plane.
Is that like a capacity thing?
I don't know. Probably they just
one comes in, one pops out.
I think they just want to make it seem like it's always hopping.
Because I wouldn't think it's capacity, because even when they go in and you're like, it's kind of dead tonight, and the music is thumping and it's packed. He's like, dead? Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's got this kind of Westworld feel, I guess, at times too. Where you're like, all these animatronic NPCs are here just as an option for me to go in a bunch of different pathways of possible like storyline.
Yeah.
And the NPCs are more like bots more than they are like NPCs. Like they only exist as club patrons, I think.
Yeah, they provide ambiance.
Yeah. And then another thing is that the area that it's a different plane of existence. This club, it's kind of like one of their guilds, right? So like if you enter a guild from any part of a floor, it's always the same room. you know, and then like if you exit the guild, you're going to exit where you entered it, like wherever on the map you entered it, but it's always going to be the same room. That's like the Desperado Club. So if you're anywhere on the floor and you go into the Desperado Club, it's always the same club. And you're going to interact with people from all over the floor.
Right.
And if you, as soon as you exit any one of the doors, you're going to come out wherever you came in.
There's a strip club called Penis Parade, and I think it's one of my favorite names for a strip club.
You like it more than bitches?
There's bitches, and then just Penis Parade. I think Penis Parade is so funny.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of signs for different places: the casino, the hunting grounds. And you know, Mordecai explains the hunting grounds is like the 6th floor, so like it's going to not even be around for us. There's Gilderama, and those are like unlit signs. Lit signs: bitches, Penis Parade, jobs. Because fuck it, it's like the internet.
Yeah.
Silk Road, which is a marketplace, and restrooms. There's another 9th door, but there's no signs. So it's probably like the back room, like utilities and whatever.
What is that secret 9th door?
I don't know.
It made it sound like you do know.
They go over and they order some drinks. Like some waitress comes over and takes her drink order. Donuts. Like, I want to try something that B, like one of B's favorite drinks. Goes through a list in her head.
Shirley.
Orders a Dirty Shirley. Carl orders a bottle.
You don't even know what that is.
Yeah, Carl orders a bottle of bourbon. He asks for cigarettes. They're like, we don't have cigarettes. We can give you some Blitz sticks. And what's that? It's a magically addictive, hallucinogenic. Nah, not going to do that. But Mordecai asks to see the pharmacist, who's a friend of his. Mordecai knows everybody.
Yeah.
And he's very, very drunk often. So he's at these places a lot.
But Mordecai is going through just gathering stuff, like a war chest for his whole alchemy set.
And at first I was like, he's going to ask the pharmacist for drugs. Like this guy's a hard, but no, he asks him for like a starter alchemy set or a pharmaceutical set.
Yeah.
Kid's first alchemy set. Yeah.
So he's going to like help use that to help make potions and stuff for the group.
Do you guys think that, I don't know. In the first book, we're introduced to like meth llamas and then moonshine. And now we have the introduction of like Blitz sticks. And then when you start thinking about it, there's a lot of alien drugs that are probably like really manufactured and dialed in and cool that you could try versus just these ones that just like are kind of, we're just smoking whatever trash we can find and seeing like what works.
Well, there's all these these alien drugs like Blitz sticks, but you never know which ones are laced with fentanyl.
Right. Yeah. And then it's like, don't you want to like Mordecai, what are the cool ones? What are the cool ones that aren't gonna like, completely derail things?
This is the guy who would come to a party, like my parties, and like eat a whole pot brownie and
we're gonna what are you talking about?
End up sitting in a corner having a 3.5 hour siesta.
Oh, man. It just doesn't work out well.
I don't feel bad. That'd be me as well.
No, I've got stories about Martin too. Both you guys.
Oh yeah, never mind.
I like the fantasy of it. The reality of it is it doesn't work well.
No.
All right.
So they get their drinks, and he also knows the pharmacist, Quinn, like I said, who's a level 75 half djinn, half garbage skull. And I love
Tasmanian devil, right?
Yeah, he's like he's got the head of a possum, and his body's like a spinning Tasmanian devil body. Which is wild, but I really love the story of like, you're going to run into half djinns everywhere. And apparently the reason for that is because somebody had gotten a magic lamp with a genie in it and at some point said something like, fuck this level. And then the genie went over and just like fucked everything and made all these like half djinn offspring.
It's such a funny, weird concept.
Yeah, right?
It's so good. But Quint is a former crawler, the pharmacist, and he mentions that he kind of like drops Mordecai as immortal now. And
Immortal?
Yeah, that now he's like immortal because apparently something about, I don't remember the specifics, but there's something about like if he's killed now as a manager, he gets
kicked out of the game.
He gets kicked out of the game, but he doesn't actually die.
Right. So, which has Carl going like, so why is it bad that you're a manager? I don't quite understand.
Oh, right.
And Mordecai, being his ever cryptic self, says, well, it's complicated. And there's this and there's that. But I don't want to talk about this right now. It's like, hey, bro, if you could just like sit and give me all the information, that would be great.
And he's like, no, there's 5 more books after this.
Yeah.
Already released.
Yeah.
I will dole it out slowly.
Yeah. And Carl's like, I could tell he wasn't going to say more, but
yeah, he's immortal. He also gets hella rich. The more levels, if they get past the 9th level, he said like the more levels they keep you descending, he gets more and more wealthy, which is I was about to spoil something that I'm not going to.
Yeah,
or
don't.
else this guy will throw an absolute fit.
But it leaves the open question of, so why were you upset about being a manager? And Carl still has that question hanging, but he's like, he is clearly not going to answer.
I mean, I think we know, right? I think I know.
I do not know.
I think
because even re-listening to it today, I was like, okay, the answer as to why he was upset about that. And it's
my speculation is that he has to make an emotional connection with these people and invest in them if he's going to help them survive.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to lose more people. Like being an instructor on the first 2 levels, you're like, yeah, these people are going to die anyway. Here's your little tool tips. I'm going to go hang out in my magic room after like a week of doing this. Whatever. But now he's like, no, now I'm like fully on your team, invested in you, and I don't do things half-assed. Some people are just going to get wasted like all of us want to do. Like he clearly wants to just kind of get wasted, but he's like, no, I'm going to buy this kit. I'm going to invest in helping you guys survive. I'm going to believe in you, and I'm going to align with you. And I think that means that he knows he's probably done this with other people where he's had to be their manager and they die.
Okay.
And you invest in your friends knowing that in a month or 3 months, they're going to die. And he's going to be left alone, but with that emotional attachment. That's my guess.
That's actually a good guess. I like that.
Yeah, at first I was like, shut up. But now, after you finished, I was totally in.
Now you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
A little softer.
So Quint, as they're talking, also says that Lucia Marr was in here. Lucia Marr, the Colombian
14-year-old dog lady.
Yeah, Colombian girl who's now like a Laja Bless, like demon-faced lady at night, and she's got the 2 big Rottweilers. Her dogs killed 2 attendants at the Desperado Club. They also killed another pet, and then broke out of the dance floor. Bouncers came in. But Lucia Marr cast a spell on the whole room and froze everybody, like just froze them in place. And Quint had never seen such a powerful spell cast by a crawler on the 3rd floor. Like this is just wild for a 3rd floor spell. And while the room was frozen, she stole a couple of bottles of tequila while her dogs killed and ate some more dancers. And then she was talking to somebody at the bar for a while and just like pulled a mace out and splattered his head. Like she's just a fucking monster.
She's an agent of chaos.
She is. And then she left and they revoked her membership. Like she's no longer allowed at the Desperado Club.
You know, if I've ever learned something from a particular TV show that I'm not allowed to name anymore.
Fuck, dude. How many times?
I just think that there's opportunity for a backstory of like redemption.
Donut.
I can't say anything.
So should we just change what this podcast is about?
Yeah. Can we just talk about that show?
No, we'll do another one. We'll do a different podcast about that. With you and some other, just you.
Yeah, just you.
Ruby, are the cameras even rolling?
You could edit it to where you switch seats and talk to yourself about it.
Yeah, you can call up the guy that played Benjamin Linus and do it with him. What's he doing these days? Donut is drunk off his ass. And goes, she says, bitch ass Rottweilers, almost as bad as Cocker Spaniels. She says that when she's drunk.
It's a bit offensive.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive.
She's not just drunk; she's shit faced.
Yeah, and somebody says, "God damn it, donut." I don't remember who, but somebody says, "God damn it, donut." It might have been me. After that,
Because you're like, don't mess with Cocker Spaniels.
yeah, just don't. Anyway, Quint and Carl like make a trade with for that starter kit, and Quint includes like an anti-alcohol potion for them and 3 Blitz sticks, and I think Carl gives them like a few bottles of the moonshine that he still has, which is apparently like super valuable because it's not being made anymore, and it's really potent stuff. But he gives the anti-alcohol potion to Donut, and she immediately sobers up. Thankfully.
Hair of the dog, it's called.
Yeah. Thankfully.
I wish they made that for real.
Yeah, feeling it this morning.
So while they're in there, they go to the Silk Road, which is that marketplace. And, they meet this hobgoblin lady and buy a bunch of explosives from her. She's like really ugly.
Her name's Pustule.
Pustule, sorry.
Yeah, she's got running sores.
And excellent hearing.
Yeah, excellent hearing. Yeah,
She heard you there.
yeah. Carl, she's so ugly. I heard that. Oh well, dear. I didn't mean anything by that. As ugly goes, you're quite beautiful.
Yeah, to Donut's credit, like she negotiates a really good deal for a bunch of explosives. And it works out. And Pustule's, by the way, fucking crazy. Like, she talks a bunch of craziness.
Is she crazy, or are we going to find out that, like, she's tapped into something weird?
I don't know.
She's probably crazy.
She's crazy.
We come across so many of these ugly characters, ugly slash crazy characters.
Ugly delicious.
That it kind of started to lose track. I was like, wait, didn't we already have that with Gum Gum? Okay, all right.
Well, Gum Gum wasn't ugly. She just smelled bad.
Right. Okay.
It's a very different thing.
You're right.
It's also interesting that, like, it's a matter of perspective, this whole ugly thing, because I imagine us simian aliens to other aliens, we also look weird if you're a blob alien or a little Kuatine. You're like, look at this.
Sure, being so hairless.
Yeah. What's going on with these?
Some of us look weird to other people.
Moving on.
They leave the Desperado Club. Mordecai stays at the bar because it's Mordecai, and they go over to they're heading toward the One-Eyed Narwhal, back to their safe room, and they let Mongo out of his carrier, and he immediately fucking screams in rage and runs down a dark alley.
Oh yeah,
and they chase him and end up finding a bunch of mobs. And the corpse of Gum Gum. Gum Gum's fucking dead.
Like chest ripped open.
Twisted around, blood drained. And there are these 3 flying heads with like organs trailing from the neck hole. Like it's like the head was pulled off and took everything from the inside with it. And those things are just flying around. These ghost-classed mobs, level 16s. Krausu. Yeah, I don't remember how.
Yeah, and they're kind of vampiric.
Yeah, it's like everything horrible in one head.
Yeah, because it was the floating brain things from floor 2 with the tentacles. It's like them, but if they're vampires.
Yeah, and they still have like skin on their, like heads wrapped around brains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
There's also this other elf thing that just jumps in and is like, I've been waiting for this all my whole life, and he's like monologuing, and he's Vicente, level 16 city elf. He's like monologuing about how he's been waiting for this moment, he's trained for this, and immediately gets shot in the head and kicked in the nut,
kicked in the balls, yeah,
and just fucking dies.
Yeah,
like his head just explodes off, and he just fucking dies.
It was like Indiana Jones. and afterwards, like, so who was that guy again?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I love how Zev's like, later when Zev's talking to Carl, she's like, hey, don't kick him in the nuts. It doesn't play well with the audience. And I'm just like, that's so funny. No, you should kick him more in the nuts.
Yeah. Especially with those bare feet.
Yeah. You know who it does play well with? Yeah. The AI. Loves it.
So Zev pipes in after he kicks that thing in the nuts, and she's like, viewers aren't really into this nut kicking thing. Like, you should probably not do it. And he's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm trying to survive. I don't need these like comments from the peanut gallery.
Exactly.
But so Vicente and the city elves, we get a little bit of like the mythology of what these elves are. There's like wood elves and night elves and whatever else. The city elves are essentially described as redneck militia.
Yeah.
And like no one really likes them. They're conspiracy nuts who think that the Skyfowl are angels.
They listen to City Elf Alex Jones.
It's QAnon.
Yeah, it's literally City Elf QAnon.
You know, we don't hear much about QAnon anymore. I think they're just MAGA at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the Proud Boys, essentially.
They are the government.
They won.
The thing is with them, like now they've come to Gum Gum's corpse. It made me feel like from the moment she showed up, the AI was like, you're taking this quest. You can duck and dodge it all you want. I'm going to make sure you do this.
Yeah, you have no choice.
No choice. You know, I mean, everybody was on Carl, like, stop trying to take this quest.
Do you think the AI wanted it to happen?
Well, whatever set this thing up, I mean, that's too many coincidences that she shows up once, then later she's there, then they run into her again, and now here's her body. It's just like, everything was set up like, I don't care what you do, you're going to take this quest.
That is interesting because with The Vengeance of the Daughter, there's a TV production crew that is using avatars like Signet to kind of guide and force a story upon something. But within these other quests, these are just kind of random AI generated quests. I guess the AI
seemingly.
As far as we know up to this point, there's no like other host of this quest, right?
I don't know.
Right. So I don't know. I wonder if it is like.
I mean, with
AI
all the quests that potentially could be around, why does this one keep popping up again?
Or it's really Carl just seeking it.
No.
Don't buy that.
No.
Okay.
Like a bait at first, sure, but there's just too many times. It's like, all right, you're being corralled into this.
So they check out whatever's on Gum Gum, like they check out her inventory and find that she has a gate pass and a mysterious letter
written in code.
Yeah, so they go, like they collect those things, go back to the one-eyed narwhal, and they tell Mordecai what's going on. They open some fan boxes, and Donut gets a framed photo of Beatrice, the one from her vacation with the ex.
Her Instagram posts are essentially...
Yeah, the Instagram post.
I mean, that's fucked, audience.
Can I say that I love the detail that her ex's Instagram handle is Brad the Chad 69.
It's like it's like your Instagram handle.
What is
so close?
What's my Instagram handle?
Isn't yours John the Chad 69? It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Carl notices that when he sees the photo, he isn't hurt by it anymore. Like it doesn't affect him anymore. And he feels like that's a big deal. And it kind of eases him. It gives him a little sense of security. He gets a fan box also. And that's where he gets his Hyali Cicera.
Which we see that he instantly has an understanding of what this is, although he shouldn't. Which is how we realize that this is what he got that upgrade.
Well, he knows what it is because he's used one before to chuck. I think what was it? Was it for this that he was using these to like chuck firecrackers off of a boat once?
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so. I
thought this was that.
I could be mixing.
I'm gonna mess up my thing. Sista Puente or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that was what this is.
No, yeah. He has that. He got that as a skill also, and that's why he's so good at it. But I think he knows what it is because he's used one before. Not very well, but
I just don't remember what the Sista Puente. Like even now, I still don't remember what that.
He remembers
right. Yeah. But it pops up, and he's like, I know that name.
Yeah, he makes the connection. He's like Sista Punta, Hyali. Oh fuck, okay. That's why, and he like tests it out, and he's like really accurate with it. And it isn't made of like wicker; it's made of metal. And when he puts something in it, it like adjusts to the size of the thing.
Yeah, the fact that it can contract and go to the right size that he needs. This whole thing brought up a big question in my mind.
Oh yeah,
which is why isn't High Alive bigger in America?
it's fucking wild.
I mean, it's so exciting, and it should be something that, like, everybody's pumping up. Oh well, soccer, football is the sport all over the world. But it's like, man, High Alive, that's exciting.
That feels like a sci-fi sport.
Yeah. It's like rollerball.
Where'd rollerball go? Where's Chris Klein again with the next rollerball movie? I think that as soon as Netflix makes a High Alive season, then all of a sudden it'll skyrocket just like F1
Well, it seems like there's always this search for what's going to be the next big thing that's already there, but nobody's talking about. Like now it's pickleball.
Fuck pickleball.
Have you played pickleball?
Huh?
Have you played it?
No, it's just badminton.
No, it's more tennis. It's more like tennis light.
Okay.
It's
like badminton, but they let brown people in.
Well, it's you can just get out there and play, and it's funny because it seems like, oh, it's not as athletic as tennis, but it kind of is because a lot of people are getting hurt because they never work out and they're suddenly doing this. But it's a ton of fun.
You want to see a bunch of ACLs blown out the same way?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah,
Go watch some pickleball.
Yeah. But man, okay, pickleball has had its day, but High Alive, that's a way to go.
Would you play this?
It's super dangerous. No.
Fuck no.
Then who's gonna play it?
Well, the top athletes, people who are going.
No, we want to see people on TV. I don't want.
Yeah. I don't want to play, but I want to watch
so
other
scary.
people.
You're gonna see a person get a hole through their body.
Are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
a draw?
Do you think he was talking about? Oh, you go to a fucking jaunty little brewery and play some High Alive?
Yeah.
No. We
They
want
have
to watch
axe
it.
wanna watch
throwing.
it.
Why not add a highlight? Little...
Well, that'd be axe throwing if you had people throwing axes on either side.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you know what? Forget I said anything. I want to see you play High Alive.
This tracks.
So-
I don't want to do it.
So after a while, Mordecai recognizes Vincente the Elf's patch, and he's like, "Oh yeah, these are those nut job moron. This is that militia. They're classified as a separate race. They're so stupid that the High Elves are like, these guys aren't us. This is a mutation. This is a different race.
Right.
These guys are city elves, not High Elves.
We don't refer to them as elves.
No, these are just a different thing altogether. This 201st Security Group is their insignia or whatever. And they have the goal of defending the Skybound or the Skyfowl from the Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl's like, aren't the fucking city elves Earthbound? Like, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's dumb. So the city elves believe that the Skyfowl are angels because something with the goddess Apido, and there's a bunch of like lore. You read it.
Well, they got wings and shit. So
Yeah, they got wings and shit, so they must be angels.
I find it a little bit unfathomable that the poor working class would work to the benefit of the billionaire class in some way, to their own detriment.
Yeah, who?
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's unbelievable.
Can't wrap your mind around
I
it.
can't. Matt, write something real. So Donut tells Mordecai, "Hey, by the way, we're going to do this quest because Gum Gum fucking died for it." And when she says that to Mordecai, the barkeep in the safe room,
Right on cue.
Fitz is like, Gum Gum is dead? Like, he's freaking out. He's really sad. And he like explains that like she was afraid of those mobs, like the floating head things, but she went out anyway to, like, she's got a really good heart. Like, she went over, she didn't want any of these prostitutes to die alone. Like, what if one got dropped and it was still alive? Because that's how Gum Gum's mom died. Gum Gum's mom was a prostitute that ended up stabbed. And when they found her, there was like a fucking mile-long blood trail behind her, and she died by herself on a fucking stoop.
What do you think of this storyline?
It really like made Gum Gum a character to me.
Oh yeah.
Like it really made me feel like, oh,
That little
fuck.
backstory?
Yeah. It feels schmaltzy and a bit much, but it really made me care about the quest and care about. I was like, yeah, of course, I would do this fucking quest too.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it makes you feel bad that, if you're, I mean, Carl wanted to, but like everybody who like blew her off, it's like, don't you feel bad that you did that?
Yeah.
Like you just went like, no, thank you. And rather than getting to know what the situation was.
Yeah. I No, I don't mean to be all like dismissive. I mean,
I'm just going to do it anyway.
no, I think like this quest,
I didn't mean that.
this quest makes more sense for Carl's characterization than him collecting pogs around the world or some sort of like meet these like X and X criteria. Instead, it's like him being a hero for a type of noble cause that resonates with him. I get that. Like that is the one that would draw him in and get him to be like, no, this is something I want to investigate. And I like that it seems to play into something that Carl seems to have a little bit of a fascination with anyway, which is playing detective to a degree, solving a mystery and like unpacking and kind of getting to the root of why things are the way they are. I don't know if this is a little bit of the engineer background that he has, of like kind of wanting to understand or is it electrician? Understanding the underlying,
He's a marine electrician.
Marine electrician, yeah. Trying to understand like the underlying structure of something. But yeah, I get that we kind of move into this pulpy noir murder mystery.
So Mordecai also has some insight on this mysterious letter that they looted off of Gum Gum, saying that, oh, this is written in necro speak or necro script or whatever. You probably have a lich problem on your hands. Maybe the gate pass that they find is this get out of jail free card that will keep the city guards off of you for minor infractions, which is, useful.
So they take it upon themselves because they're in this Skyfowl city to go talk to, was it the magistrate or like the head of the city?
Magistrate Featherfall.
Yeah, but they realize like all those buildings are way up there and there's no stairs. And they're like, how do we get up there?
How does anybody get up here?
So eventually they figure out, okay, we're gonna have to like puddle jump using her little teleport Nightcrawler's skill or whatever.
And now it's a high enough level of skill that they don't have to have line of sight. Like they can actually like puddle jump to a surface that they can't see. Whereas before they had to see what they were jumping to.
But we get this secretary Skyfowl lady that they sneak into the office of, and she seems like a stock character of sorts that we're already familiar with. This really prudish asshole secretary who collects a bunch of Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
I feel like Martin and I worked with this lady at one of our previous.
It's funny because I was going to say, like, I see those kind of characters in movies and TV shows all the time, but never in real life. And it just reminded me, like, oh yeah, yeah.
We used to work together.
Yeah.
We worked with one of these.
Yeah.
And her name more than one.
Yeah.
Her name was also Mrs. Quill.
Wait, was it?
Oh shit! Edit that
Not
out.
Not quite.
But she's got a collection of Beanie Babies. She's really just not having it with them. And it seems like, I don't know, like this sequence here where Carl manufactures an excuse to, well, he's trying to get into the mayor's office, or the magistrate's office.
Yeah.
But that seems like no matter what they do, the door's locked and she's not letting them in. And he tries even dumping a dead corpse of a prostitute into the room in order to get it.
That was so fucking funny.
It was.
Because he does that and she calls the guards and the guards come over and he's like, get out of jail free. And they're like, and they leave. And there's a dead corpse of a hooker on her thing.
Right. She's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
And it's leaking fluids all over her Beanie Babies.
But even that wasn't enough to get her to open the door. And then when they even try to open the door when she leaves the room and is too distracted,
It's magically locked.
Yeah, it's magically locked, and the AI's like, it's like no one wants you to get in here. So it's like no matter what they did at that point, there was no getting in through this like video game sequence of events.
Right.
They couldn't access it. Which I think when I kind of got to that part, it did just feel like a video game.
Oh,
to an
very much
extent.
so.
Yeah. Like, oh, you can't, there's no getting in. But Carl clearly steals something at this point. I don't know if it's described what he necessarily takes, but he takes opportunity to take something in how the phrasing is written. Or does it say exactly? Do you guys remember?
I don't remember.
I don't.
I know he takes something, or it seems like he does, because she leaves the room, but we don't know what. Because then he takes the body back as well. And then they're like, all right, we'll leave.
He takes the body back after she says, I will talk to the magistrate about this and we'll get in contact with you, but fucking get rid of this thing. And he finally takes it back after she promises.
Yeah, man, I wish I wrote it down. I know there's some phrasing in there that implies that he took something, but it was one of those times where they don't say it. So I'm like, okay, what is it? And now I don't remember what he might have taken. So
yeah,
kind of curious.
Don't remember that.
But I know she had Beanie Babies or something like to that effect all over the place.
Yeah.
Collecting that.
He might have taken some Beanie Babies.
Maybe that's Beanie Babies.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna find some weird thing with him and B where they actually love collecting Beanie Babies. It's some sentimental thing. I don't know. Then after that, is this when they kind of moved to doing just like in the last chapter 18? They moved to just doing a little bit more grinding before their interview.
They do some grinding, and Carl realizes with his Shistera that the regular 6-second fuses on some of the
like dynamite little balls or whatever
on the dynamite is too long.
Yeah.
Like he has to like light it and wait. So he comes up with this brilliant idea of lighting dynamite, counting it down, and then putting it in his inventory. And it just kind of freezing status. Like he did with the other dynamite earlier.
Sure.
Like these are things that he's like learning and kind of adapting to other things.
I mean, it seems like kind of like military training. If you're using grenade versus dynamite, you know you're operating with a shorter countdown down on a grenade, and it's whatever until it explodes. He's operating on that not only more comfortably because he probably has a little bit of military training. He talks in the first book about you'd be surprised how much military training they still do, even though he's working on a boat. It seems like he already had a degree of comfort level there, but then whatever upgrades he has, like he sees the bombs in a way that Donut and Mordecai don't, and he just knows these are actually safe in my hands.
Right.
Because he's remembering like that in book 1 that goblin who's just like casually throwing a grenade or like a hobblobber or whatever it was up in the air, and everyone else is nervous around him, but like it shows that different characters have a different lens of their safety level with certain objects that the outside perspective doesn't share. He's a bomb guy.
He's a bomb guy.
So as they're grinding, they soon realize somebody's cleared this area out before. They see the corpse of a boss, like a neighborhood boss, on their mini map, and they're like, "Well, this is really frustrating. We've been like trying to level up, but this is." So they decide to go and loot the neighborhood map off of the boss because it's a persistent loot. They can go and take it. And as they go into this like YMCA, it's this abandoned YMCA with an indoor pool, but like the indoor area that the pool's in is kind of like partially exposed to the exterior.
It's a cool set place for maybe an action sequence.
Maybe.
But they actually see the name of the person who's been killing stuff around that area.
Oh, yeah.
And the name is Daniel Batista.
Daniel Batista.
Which, do you remember that name?
No.
Before they first found Signet.
In book 2.
In book 2.
Yeah.
They found a group of dead crawlers outside, an entire family that was killed.
Right.
3 sisters, or like 2 sisters and mom, or something.
Yeah, one of them looked like an Ent from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
They were all like this Filipino family, the Batistas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now they found that because they saw that the family had been looted by someone in a hurry, which is why they got that like ankle bracelet, but other stuff was still there, or other stuff was taken clearly. So there's a Daniel Batista who his family died, and that's kind of a family where Carl was feeling a little guilty that he hadn't reached out to these other crawlers. And we still see throughout this book he hasn't reached out to other crawlers. But if it's Gum, he cares. Not that he shouldn't. But
well, it's similar to the people who don't care that much about other humans, but they'll fall on their sword for animals.
Right.
And they're like, animals are just the most precious thing. And I was like, what about these people? I don't know what people, but the animals.
There's room for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who curiously don't care for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who those people would be.
You're not referring to your heroes.
I'm getting a lot of use out of just stretching out my shirt, it seems.
Anyway, they get to this swimming pool where this dead boss is, and they see there's like this long dead, bloated, fucking two-headed sea creature. It's just rotting and stinky. And
they run into a lot of stinky stuff.
Lots of stinky stuff. And as they're going in there, they notice like a bunch of like fucking mobs around the area. And they're about to go into the pool. And like it gets really gross real fucking fast.
There's a sudden attack on them, and they seem to be attacked around all sides. This triggers Carl to try and throw an explosive. He throws one through a guy, and that person he immediately not only explodes, but not even his corpse is left as an X. He's just gone.
Right.
Well,
the first thing happens is that the lights go out. Like somebody casts some kind of spell.
Oh, right.
And it turns day to night in that area. And I think Donut, launches a torch up, and it doesn't even penetrate the darkness. And so, like, Carl's effectively blind, and he tells Donut, fucking jump into the pool or whatever, like, take cover, and he, like, starts lobbing fucking dynamite. And, one hits a person.
One eviscerates a guy.
Yeah, well, he kills a couple people, and I think Donut takes a couple people out, too. But, like, one of the sticks of dynamite bounces off of something, and like comes in their direction and it explodes, and that's the last thing Carl remembers for the whole fight.
I feel like we should start keeping track of points where Carl's probably died and the AI saved him. Because like Donut's 9 lives maybe just got transferred over to Carl because he keeps killing himself, and the AI is like, damn it, I like them feet. All right, get back.
That was a moment where I was like, oh, he's done.
Yeah, he should die.
Yeah, so he wakes up. Like we're missing a whole bunch of time there, but he wakes up and he's across the street because like the fucking like his dynamite went off and he landed on the corpse, and then the corpse exploded, and apparently he like pinwheeled out of the building over a fucking road and onto another roof across the street. And when he wakes up, like Donut's just caked in fucking gore and like taking things out, and Mongo's like killing things, and Carl's confused, doesn't know what's going on, finally looks over and sees the zombie mobs that they were fighting against. Like, first of all, they killed a couple of city elves. They were there, fucking gone.
Not a threat, apparently. Militia. There's a warning.
These slow-moving zombie mobs that were attacking him were like these 13-foot tall, sewn together constructs of just body parts.
Yeah, just multiple body parts.
Just a bunch of random body parts stuck together.
Oh, yeah. There's an interesting part where he muses about that neighbor lady that lived below him. The one who got decapitated in the first chapter.
Mrs. Parsons.
Yeah, and he's like, I wonder if she could have ended up as just reanimated as like a zombie corpse, headless corpse attacking people like this.
Level 12 shambling berserkers.
Yeah, which is kind of sad to think about.
It is sad, but I was like, Carl, don't think about that.
Yeah, why are you getting into your feels right now? Just get to killing.
So they have a little conversation. She fills him in on the details, and she goes, "We need a new rule: no throwing explosives when blinded. Like no more of that." But she's also like really excited about the interview coming up and says that she'd like to have a shower.
Oh yeah, they're he said they're so caked in gore and viscera that it's so much worse than other previous battles. I like that this is bookended. This was very much by design, viewers and listeners, that we have the beginning, chapter 11, where Carl saves Donut, who's knocked out. And then at the very end, Donut saves Carl, who's knocked out.
Yeah.
And we did this on purpose. That's why we chose chapters 11 through 18 here. Yeah.
Well, it is one where Donut got to go like, oh, you did all that by yourself without me. And at the end, it's like, okay, well, now I had a solo adventure without you.
And it feels like she's having a fucking great time.
And as she's filling in Carl, he's really quiet and reserved. And we have to wonder what that is. Is it because he feels like she can survive without him? He's a little bit left out too?
I think he'd be happy knowing that she could survive without him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, we got kids. That's kind of all you really want. You want your kids are going to be okay without you. So, yeah, that kind of feels good. That was good. A good end note. I think it actually ends with him kind of laughing about, you know what? Let's kill a few more before this interview. And have fun with it.
Well, he laughs about doing that and showing up to the interview caked in gore.
No. Let's just go like this.
Yeah, this would be hilarious.
It's like one of those 80s TV shows that ends on a freeze frame of them laughing while doing something that's kind of fucked up. It was fun. Yeah.
That's it.
That is it for part 2. This is going to be a 3-part breakdown of book 2, rather. So that means that your reading assignment, dear listener, is going to be chapters 19 through the end of the book for our next episode next week. We got some more fun stuff in store for you as well. Not just that, but I'm not doing any more spinning wheels race and class selection. That was more editing than I anticipated.
It worked out so well the first time.
It was just an extra 35 minutes.
It was not that long. And once I edited it down, I feel like it was 2 minutes. It ended up being pretty quick.
I did like to see what a rat can look like. I appreciate that. You fucking asshole.
You could have been a sexy ratkin.
He was a fucking pimp fucking minotaur.
Yeah, but did you actually see what a cretin was?
Yeah.
It's a rock monster.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool, man.
That's not what we thought it was. I think you lucked out when you said cretin, and then I pulled up the pictures of it.
I was just, I picked cretin because I was like, okay, cretin in the Dungeon Crawler Carl universes are cool rock monsters. They're still kind of stupid.
Oh, yeah.
But
then that fits, buddy.
But cretin in modern parlance is just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That's all it means.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, you're a level.
Does fit that.
You know,
you said, yeah,
got rocks in his head.
You're a level 1 cretin.
Oh, just a level 1 too. Damn.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. Audience, we want to thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode. We will be back next week to close out book 2. Once again, that's chapters 19 through the end of the book. And we want to thank you patrons who've joined us. We keep getting people there joining us over on Patreon.
Oh, right on.
Rubio and I do little deep crawl breakdowns where we talk about stuff that's a little bit more expansive, covering all 7 books through the lens of what we just discussed each week.
Yes,
on our episode.
We assume that anybody watching those has read through the entire series.
Yeah. So we want to say thank you to all of you guys, but in particular, Christian Castanon, who is our one crawler who's actually up on the leaderboard. We want to give you a specific shout out. We appreciate you as our first patron and stuck with us.
Yeah, I'm fucking psyched about this guy. It's so awesome. I want to read more names in that though.
Yeah. Other people you can join at that tier. You get your name up on every episode. There's also chat groups going on in there. So people are starting to talk to each other as well as not just us. So we appreciate the enthusiasm there, as well as wherever you can listen to us over on YouTube, on Spotify has video now with comments. You can also just listen to the audio version wherever we have that as well. You guys got some other stuff going on as well. You guys want to plug that?
Sure. You can find me at Double Toasted. That's Double Toasted on Twitch. doubletoasted.com. If you subscribe to the website, you get on Twitch or on the website, you get the full shows, which we can run 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's like this.
Yeah, for live streaming shows a week.
I don't know if you know, but Martin's 27 years old.
Takes a toll.
We cover mostly movies, but also pop culture and TV and even current events. And if you don't want to pay, you can always see shortened clips on YouTube, and the full audio will be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
And Grant and I are on a beer tasting comedy podcast called The Beerists, and that is on anywhere you listen to your podcast. SoundCloud, Spotify, your fucking regular RSS feed. Just do a search on your podcast app and find The Beerists.
It's a little raunchy.
It's real raunchy.
But once the beer starts flowing, how can it not be?
How can it not? Not with our immature personalities.
Oh, and I've barred him from talking about Lost, so.
Yeah.
You were able to do that?
Yeah, it's really easy.
Huh.
Yeah.
And yet you can't work that magic here.
You know what the difference is?
What's that?
He has Final Cut on that episode. I have Final Cut on this one, so I can do what I want.
Okay.
Here.
That's why this one's worse.
Hey, everyone, we appreciate you guys. Until next week, get out there and read.